All right, Dirty Sports 751. We are live on YouTube in 5, 4, 3. Welcome to the Dirty Sports Podcast. I am your host, Andy Ruther, coming to you live from Cincinnati, Ohio, with my co-host from Los Angeles, California, Joey. No chill, Praino.
Hello, Andy.
Good morning to you and good afternoon to me.
Yes, back on a more normal schedule where I'm doing it in the morning and I'm doing it in the morning from the West Coast. It's like my timing never changed, but yours changes greatly depending on where I'm recording from.
You were gone 2 weeks.
It's gone 2 weeks, yeah. New York was awesome. I think that they're getting, they're always seemingly like a little bit behind here in terms of their moves. Well, they were ahead, with the COVID stuff originally, but it sounds like they're now just going to make potentially some changes. But I was there and everything was open. All the comedy clubs were packed. Shout out to the good folks at The Stand. Obviously, everybody knows it's where I recorded my original special, their original location, available on Amazon. But those guys are always so great to me. And I honestly love that. I think it's the best club in New York. I know the Comedy Cellar has this like thing these days, but in terms of quality of talent, quality food, drink, the space itself, it's just such a fantastic comedy club. So if you guys ever go to New York, or if you're in New York, or if you visit New York, go check out The Stand, get their delicious food, try a delicious cocktail, watch some great comedy. I mean, it's Dave Chappelle's go-to spot these days. That should tell you everything you need to know.
Yeah, I knew that. How's the new club compared to the old club?
I loved the old room.
Yeah, it was cool. I liked it too.
The old main room. It had a very Comedy Cellar vibe. The downstairs basement, small room. The new main room is also downstairs. It's a little bit bigger. When it's packed, it's a fantastic room. There was something just about that old room. Like when you were on stage there at the old room, if I had my hair a little extra poofed, it would like scrape the ceiling. It was so low. And obviously I have it holds a special place in my heart. But I actually think that their new room is fantastic as well. But they also have a second room upstairs now, a beautiful like dining area / bar upstairs that like is so much bigger and nicer than the original. Sad that they couldn't just like keep both, but onward and upward for the folks at The Stand.
Yeah, that's great. What about the city? How'd you feel there? I mean, here's my thing. The reason I'm asking you, I don't trust anybody, like any news, and literally, I don't trust anything. And that's kind of where I'm at now, because I think they're all shit. They're all crap. In fact, again, I don't think you should watch the news. But anyway, that's a whole other discussion. So when I hear all these things, especially about the big cities, they're always going to have a bias. And with the big cities, it's usually a negative bias. So I don't want to trust things I see unless I talk to somebody who's been there. So tell me firsthand your experience.
The city seemed pretty normal, to be totally honest with you. The one thing that I noticed is different from New York and LA in terms of everything that's been going on is feels like in LA they say, no, we're dropping the mask mandate, and then you won't see anybody but one person here and there with a mask on still in a store or walking down the boardwalk or walking down the Strand or whatever. In New York, they haven't had a mask mandate for a while. And the first night I was there, I had a show in Brooklyn in this it's like kind of like in the LA equivalent would be like a Grand Central Market. It was like below this big like food market. And I walked into the food market and every single person had a mask. And I was like, oh shit, does this place specifically have a mask mandate? Like, so I went back to my car and got a mask. And then I just realized it was more everybody just doing it. I mean, 100% of the people had a mask on. And that's just like them taking personal responsibility. And I feel like they're, seeing
I was
a
going to ask,
benefit because of it.
but like that aside, like I know crime. Look, I know statistically crime is up in basically all the big cities, and that's for a variety of reasons. But like, did you feel? I just want to ask you personally, like, do you feel unsafe walking around there, or are things again like blown out of proportion?
Not even a little bit.
Okay,
and I didn't feel a little bit unsafe. I mean, you've got to that's another thing, you've got to take all things into consideration. Like what, when somebody says this isn't the 80s or the 90s anymore. I don't know how many murders, I don't know how many homicides there are in New York every year, at this point. But when they say something like homicides have tripled, it's like, did we go from 3 to 9? Like, you got to kind of, we didn't go from 300 to 900. It's a big difference. So like, I didn't notice any single thing different than the last time I was there pre-COVID, other than masks and outdoor dining. And
and the reason I ask all this again, because like I said, people want to fit things to a narrative, and I know there are statistics on it in general, but I've always said you can see bad things on social media, and they'll post videos of like a bad mugging, or the Rick Moranis thing was famous. And I'm not saying that there aren't bad things that don't happen in big cities, but I also think I always ask how much went on
even
before videos existed. Do you know what?
Yeah,
exactly. That makes sense?
Exactly. How many, totally. I mean, the other thing is somebody punches Rick Moranis in the face. Like, that's COVID related? That's like politics related? Like, I don't think is somebody who's going to punch the guy from Honey, I Shrunk the Kid being like, I'm doing this because of the damn Democrats.
Which, by the way, why are you going after Rick Moranis, man? He got pretty jacked up too.
Yeah. Honestly, New York felt totally normal in New York to me. Obviously, it's COVID normal. There's masks. There's little shit here and there that we has become the new normal in the last 2 years. But I would say I saw less homeless people than normal. Now, to be fair, I rode the subway precisely one time because I had a car. But so I don't know what's going on underground, but the streets of New York are as normal. Honestly, there's a lot of parking. That was nice.
Were you rocking Jay-Z, Alicia Keys song?
No, I didn't listen to it one time. I don't even think it's on my 5.5 hour New York playlist.
It didn't even make the cut.
I don't think so, because I don't dislike that song. It's fine. It got overplayed for sure. But I don't even think it made my playlist, because I just felt like it was maybe too much of like a novelty song at this point.
Sure. Now
it's like the Who Let the Dogs Out of New York songs.
I haven't heard that jam for a while. Let's segue into some sports. We're talking New York. We got to talk Melo then. Melo, former New York Knick.
So happy. I'm so happy.
Has signed with the Lakers.
A lot of people immediately messaged me. And obviously I'm a LeBron fan, but the LeBron, my rooting for LeBron's team, it does I don't always necessarily root for a LeBron team over somebody else. Like I've said before, I didn't root for LeBron versus that Mavs team. I love Dirk. I love that Mavs team, despite at the times already believing LeBron was tracking to be the greatest player of all time. I wasn't rooting for him. So a lot of people wanted my take on almost how I felt about him joining a team I root for. And I was like, guys, you're looking at this from the complete wrong view. I am ecstatic that he didn't sign with my New York Knicks. I don't care if he signs with the fucking Mets. Just don't let him fucking sign with my New York Knicks basketball team. So I am thrilled that he is not, and hopefully will never be, a New York Knickerbocker ever again. What do I think about him joining the Lakers? The idea that anybody, Vegas or fans or anything, think that this helps them at all. I actually think it hurts them more than it helps them.
Well, the Lakers, let's just hop into them. They're basically filling out their roster, or half fill out their roster. They're going with, some few young guys, and then mostly veterans. So since our last episode, they signed Melo. They bring back Dwight Howard. They bring back Trevor Ariza. They re-sign Horton Tucker. They bring in Kendrick Nunn.
Yeah, they're doing it on the cheap. Cheap young guys, cheap old guys.
Bazemore, Wayne Ellington, Malik Monk. Personally, I feel like you have the big three, and then you're just throwing this pile of shit and hoping it sticks.
Well, I think those young, I think Malik Monk, I think Wayne Ellington, not necessarily young these days, but like those guys are just like solid role players that don't demand any attention, that don't demand any ball. They're like, I actually think the Lakers moves as a whole, especially following the Russell Westbrook trade, have been great. I think if you're going with the big three of Westbrook, if you're going with the big three of LeBron James, Westbrook, and AD, that you fill it out with the young kind of guys that they're signing. I like those moves. I like the Dwight Howard move because Dwight Howard has transitioned into a certain type of player late in his career. He has, familiarity with them, and he is still 7 feet tall and hell athletic and doesn't demand the ball or demand the attention. Carmelo Anthony, to me, is a horrific signing for them. And I think it's a horrific signing for them because there are so many people in the league that can do what Carmelo Anthony does. Jesus Christ. That can do what Carmelo Anthony does without any of the distraction that he brings, without any of the, the thing about Carmelo Anthony's game now is like people give Carmelo Anthony minutes or a contract based on what he might potentially do one game here and there. When the truth is, what Carmelo Anthony does is shoot 40% from three on spot ups now, still make half-assed at best effort defensively, stop the ball. Like, I just, the idea that LeBron wants Carmelo Anthony on this team, like the idea that here is precisely the problem with Carmelo Anthony. They put out what will be a picture of like the five guys, like they put out like Westbrook, LeBron, Melo. I forget who the fourth was. Who would be there? Like
so AD, LeBron, AD, Melo.
And then there was one other person in that pick that like went around on ESPN or whatever. And it's like if you are starting Carmelo Anthony on this team, you fucked up. You fucked up.
Well, I agree. I just don't I don't understand this is what I'm gonna say about the Melo thing. I don't understand a lot of it because it's like we're living in the past still with him or anything he's done. And I said this, I was a guest. Some dirtballs have a podcast that I did last night. I think it's up on YouTube now. Front row seats. And we didn't talk too much sports because I was a little stoned and, going on tangents. But anyway, I told these guys, shout out to those guys. But
Shout out to them.
Shout out to the front row seats guys. And, but I told them, no one talks about Melo basically didn't play for a year. Nobody wanted him.
Yeah.
He played 10 games. I'm looking it up. Played 10 games for the Rockets in the 2018-2019 season. Remember, after they cut him, no one wanted him. So my argument is this. Why did the rest of the league, nobody wanted him? Nobody. The rest of the season, nobody wanted to take a chance on Carmelo. Now, finally, the next year, the Portland Trailblazers did. But my point is this. If nobody wanted to take a chance, now suddenly he's back in the fold.
Which is fine, by the way. Like, I don't.
Like, what happened then? Why did nobody want him? Now people want him?
No one wanted him because they didn't believe he could be anything but stay Melo, blah, blah, blah. Then he, I'm sure, gave some sort of, verbal commitment to like, nah, I can be a spot up shooter. I can be whatever. And listen, he wasn't horrible with Portland. But the two things about Melo, one, I just think that you can get anybody to do, like, you can't get anybody, but this is like, you can get somebody to give you what Carmelo Anthony gives you statistically with more effort for less money with less hoopla. That's one. Two, immediately with him and his name, it's like Westbrook, Melo, LeBron, AD. It's like the idea that it's not Westbrook, LeBron, Wayne Ellington, AD. Like, that's who he should be on this team. He should be a piece that can trade minutes with Wayne Ellington. But the idea that the attitude isn't that because it's Carmelo Anthony, I think makes it a detrimental move. The idea that when in doubt, you're going to give Melo more minutes than Wayne Ellington. Maybe if Wayne Ellington's playing, having a good game, or whoever else on their team, any of those other guys, Malik Monk or this guy or Tucker or Horton Tucker, whatever, like any of them. The idea that you would ever be like, it's crunch time. I'm going to go Melo because he's Carmelo Anthony. You are hurting your team. Anybody, any young swingman can do what Carmelo Anthony does with more effort. And you don't have to make that decision like, oh, is he going to be pissed if I take him out? Is he going to be? It's insane. It's insane that you would take all that comes with Carmelo for what he gives you. What is he giving you every night? 11 and 5 with no defense. What did he average last year?
He averaged last year 13.4 points a game. He shot 40% from three, 42% overall. That's what I'm saying. Like, he's not a good spot up three shooter. He's just not. Like on that team, when you're going to have the spacing and you're going to have the available shots that LeBron and Westbrook are going to give you, I think you need a better shooter.
He actually is a decent like catch and shoot guy, but he just like, he's even in Portland. He's first of all, to be a 3-and-D guy, there's two parts to being a 3-and-D guy.
Got to play D.
And he refuses. At this point, it's a combination of he refuses and, he fucking can't. I mean, I'm just looking at like, who are the, like, Melo's at 13. What'd you say? 13.4 points a game?
Correct. Last year he was.
It's like the other guys in that area are like fucking nobodies.
I mean,
Seth Curry's giving you 12.5.
I'd much rather have Seth Curry.
Yeah, of course.
It's not even close.
Kyle Kuzma is giving you 13 points a game.
No, I wouldn't have Kuzma
over Carmelo Anthony.
I think Kuzma's trash, dude.
He's young. He gives you effort.
I call that a wash, personally.
Okay, but my point is, this is precisely my point. Let's call it a wash. No one's going Westbrook, LeBron, Kuzma, AD.
That's what I'm saying. He's living. Carmelo is living off the past. Anything he's done in the past, he's still living off that.
I mean,
dude, if you go, okay, we talk a lot about NBA Twitter. If you go on NBA Twitter, they're stuck in Melo from 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
They're stuck from Melo from 12 years ago. Like the PR machine, I don't know what it is. The spin on Melo. Hell, nobody's even talking about what he did to that girl in England and the twins and the side chick. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I mean, I don't care, but I'm just saying, like, he gets a side chick pregnant. She has twins. He tells her to go to England to get out of the country. We're not even talking about that because his PR team. Look, I don't know how.
But I'll tell you what. It's insane. Dude, look at it. Go on social media now. I've never seen a guy who has more fans for being so fucking trash.
That's my point.
The Melo apology forms that circulate every time he scores 20 points in a game. He's from LeBron James' fucking class.
I know.
LeBron James is still an all-NBA player. Carmelo Anthony is a guy who shoots 42% from the field, scores 13 points a game. The big four. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And you know what? The problem is everybody's counting. Like, I saw the tweets, people being like, Carmelo finally gets his shot to make like the big shot. He's going to be the guy. He's going to be a guy who has that opportunity. It's like if Carmelo Anthony has an opportunity to be a big shot maker in the playoffs, the Lakers are fucked. It means Nunn and fucking Monk and Ellington, they're fucking playing like trash.
Carmelo's the hot chick who isn't as hot anymore, but still thinks she is.
Carmelo Anthony is a fucking was a sorority sister. Literally, she was the president of the fucking sorority. She peaked in college. It's been all fucking downhill from there.
Yeah. That sorority girl, it's like 20 pounds heavier. She didn't look as pretty. She got 3 kids.
She wears a hoodie everywhere to cover it up.
Yeah. But when that girl walks into Whole Foods, she acts like her shit doesn't stink. And she needs to understand she's aged. She doesn't look as good.
We've already spent too much time talking about it.
I agree. I agree. We can move on. We can move on to some other NBA stuff. You guys re-signed Kemba. I'm sorry, you signed Kemba. You re-signed Julius Randle.
I love the Knicks moves. I've been critical of a lot of Knicks moves over the years. Talk about, going through like Kemba, Fournier, RJ, Randall, Mitchell Robinson, prayers up that he's healthy. I like that starting 5 for a rebuilding team. I like it a lot. Kemba coming home. Kemba loves the Garden. I think he's like 5th in scoring at the Garden for active players. He's coming home. Big East tournament, UConn, blah, blah, like all his history. New York kid. I love it. I fucking love it. I think he has certainly some injury concerns, but it was never I liked the move for Boston, but they never made it work. And I think he's better than he showed there. And I'm ecstatic at their moves. And the biggest move of all, not getting Carmelo Anthony.
What do you make of Lonzo Ball leaving from the Pelicans standpoint, going to the Bulls?
I'm a Lonzo Ball believer still.
You are, I know.
I just think he's one of those guys where he has a certain skill set that translates to being able to play effectively for a long time in the NBA. I think he's held, to this crazy standard because of his dad and his brother and whatever, that he has to be like, if he's not an all NBA player, that he's somehow a bust. But I think he's going to be fine. I think he's going to be a good, solid, contributing player for the Chicago Bulls.
Well, he had his best year last year.
Yeah. Because he's fucking, what was that? What was that, his fourth year?
Yeah.
He left when he was what? A sophomore?
He left after freshman year.
He left after his freshman year. So he had, so that was his what? Second year if he comes out as a junior, like everybody, basically historically.
Yeah, his dad didn't do him any favors.
No, his dad's a fucking idiot.
What happened to that guy?
I think, they figured out, despite his best efforts, that he was a PR fucking nightmare.
I could have told you that from day one when
Right.
he said he could have beat Michael Jordan.
Well, yeah.
Like day one. I mean, let's not forget the mainstream, in air quotes, media was bringing him on shows to discuss.
It served its purpose at the time. He big baller brand. He sells a bunch of fucking sneakers. It's a joke. He sells this. He sells that. They capitalize on it. The fucking
he was smart.
The hoopla falls down, and now it's like, hey, if you keep staying out there, you can't sell anything anymore except people hating you and your kids. So just shut the fuck up. So good on whichever agent or PR guy finally got a hold of him and corralled him. But I think Lonzo Ball is going to be fine. I think the Bulls are trying to figure something out. Meanwhile, I don't necessarily think the Pelicans are trying to figure something out. There's already talk of Zion leaving.
That's
been in the league
crazy.
for fucking 2 years.
That's crazy, though, to think that.
But if you're not building a team around the guy, it's early. But like, if instead of assembling a team around him, you're taking apart the team around him.
Yeah. Chris Paul back to the Suns.
Shocking to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely shocking. I just don't like this move. I don't think Chris Paul for the next 3 years. I mean, what are the Lakers odds? Are Lakers Western Conference favorites?
Yeah, right now, Vegas wise.
Okay, and where are the Suns?
Well, I know Lakers are favorites. Let's see here. Dear God.
Lakers plus 150, Phoenix Suns plus 650, Golden State plus 450, Utah Jazz plus 650. So they're behind the Lakers and the Warriors. They're tied with the Jazz to come out of the Western Conference.
Yeah, and I'm seeing something different from Vegas Insider, but still has Lakers, Warriors, Suns.
I just don't. I just think last year was lightning in a bottle, and great for them, and great. The finals didn't go the way they wanted, but what a way to like jump into the mix and be like, we're going to be contenders for a while. But what I said, and I'll repeat, is I think taking the year back from after the finals, much like Miami, and also kind of a Cinderella run, I think they take a step back this year, and I think they could come right back to being real contenders with some savvy moves around the young guys they have. Just going all in on this roster for the next 3 years with Chris Paul seems to me a bit reckless. And I get that he earned it, but you know, a lot of sports franchises over the years have been successful by not clinging to what just happened.
Yeah, they're trying to stick. They re-signed campaign, so they're trying to stick basically with this roster and what they did. I tend to agree with you here. I think everything came together for them at the right place, the right time.
And other teams were down, and the Lakers were hurt, and you know,
and so was Denver,
and so were the Clippers.
The Clippers, yeah, it's a lot of things.
I just think you got yourself tons of playoff experience. You got yourself a finals appearance. I just think there's better ways to be a championship contender 2 to 3 years from now. If you have $120 million sitting in the trunk of your fucking car, than giving it all to Chris Paul. My opinion. Some sleeveless Suns fan wants to fight me over it right now. But, and you know what? This, 4 months into the NBA season, when they're 2 seed, people are going to be like, what the fuck now, Praino? And I'm going to be like, and 4 more months later, when they don't win the championship, I'm going to be like, yeah, fucking just spent $40 million to fucking get bounced in the Western Conference Finals.
Dude, I'm sorry. I know we're talking this. God, I'm seeing some funny Kirk Cousins stuff right now.
Why? What's going on with Kirk Cousins?
Dude, these NFL guys. These NFL guys are unbelievable.
Is Kirk Cousins anti-vaxxing now?
So, like, to me at this point, like, I don't even want to get into. Yeah, it's involving the vaccine. This is pretty funny. This is from a ESPN reporter, Kevin Seifert. Cousins said he has thought about surrounding himself with plexiglass in the QB room. He was asked why he would go to such lengths when a vaccine would be far more effective and efficient. He said the decision is personal and private. Let me just repeat what I just said. Kirk Cousins is talking about surrounding himself with plexiglass in the quarterback room. You have to just laugh at it, man. You can't even get frustrated. You have to just laugh.
You know why? You know what's frustrating, Andy, is like people agree with him. That's what's frustrating. It's not that funny that we have fucking people this dumb.
It's funny to me. We've always had
49.7% of Americans are probably like, yep, plexiglass. Totally. I should fucking try plexiglass. What a fucking despicable place we have gotten to as humankind.
Well, I think it's a lot of factors. Like we talked about the media early on. I think we've politicized just everything.
You like that? What are you saying? You like that? We can't hear you, Kirk. You're in a plastic. You like that? You like that? Are you saying you like that? Are we still paying you $30 million to be the most mediocre that there's ever been at quarterback, and now you're living inside of a bubble in our fucking QB room? Kirk kill yourself Cousins. That's what I'd like to say. You know why his name's Kirk Cousins? Because his parents were fucking cousins, and now he's a fucking inbred moron.
But again, like I would love to see the crazy. I think there's a high percentage of NFL players who agree. A high percentage.
I think there's a high percentage of not NFL players who agree. That's why it's in fucking sane where we are. We've politicized the medicine, dude.
Well, I agree. And I think that's a problem from both sides. And I think it happens all the time. We've politicized, I think, with social media, with how the quote unquote news, I don't even want to call it news anymore. All those things, all that clickbait, all the ratings, all the how it's driven. I just,
it's just one, but it's just
it's
amazing.
It's not good.
There's one side of people who are just like, what are you guys fucking talking? Like, what the fuck are you all take your fucking shoes off at the airport because one guy fucking thing. You don't care about your freedoms now. You're de-clothes yourself every time you travel. No one's screaming about freedom. 600,000 Americans died, and Kirk Cousins is going to sit in a plexiglass box in the quarterback room.
We're basically living in a South Park episode every day. And as an avid South Park guy, and they renewed their season, and I'm so happy about that. They renewed through like 2030 or something. They're getting a $900 million deal. $900 million they're getting to go through 2030 and produce 14 movies. As someone who's watched every episode, we are living in a South Park episode. We are. And I have to try to laugh at it because it's just so absurd. Like the thought of him thinking, hey, I'm going to be in a plexiglass entrapment or whatever it is. That's just absurd to me.
I'm enraged at Kirk Cousins is a boneheaded fucking idiot. He's a mediocre quarterback. I've never you like that, bro. Shut the fuck up. But what makes me sad is how many people are like, yeah, he should. That's what he should do. It is a personal decision. You should make your fucking NFL franchise build you an isolation tank for the fucking quarterback room. Like he's on the fucking cube with Dwayne Wade.
You watch that?
Yeah, it's great.
Is it?
And I don't watch it like.
What's the premise?
You basically you go into a cube and they have challenges for you, like physical challenges, like / memory shit / like whatever inside the cube, and you know it's like basically Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. Every time you get one wrong, you lose a life. Blah 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 blah. But I don't like DVR it. I don't like tune into it. But it came on after NBA games.
Yeah,
and I was like, yeah, it's kind of fun.
I gotta discuss this quick story on Jason Kidd because it really speaks to me as someone who despises androids and who has gone on rants about how Android users destroy group text. This is my passion, people. If you own an Android, you're an asshole. I'm going to say it. Because if I have a group text, I can't send you videos or they show up small and blurry. This happened to me this week. I had my brother's 2 kids who were twins for about 24 hours. So we're doing a lot of fun activities. I took a lot of fun videos. My sister-in-law has an Android. My brother has an iPhone. So now in the group text, I can't send her the videos. I have to then say, well, I got to do a separate text now to just my brother because these are the videos that I took with the kids in downtown or at the aquarium or crossing the bridge, whatever we were doing. So I've always had issues with that. You're kind of an asshole because most people have an Apple computer. And those people are even crazier to me. If you have an Apple computer, but then you have an Android phone, what? They're all supposed to sync. That's why this story speaks to me. Jason Kidd once punished his Milwaukee Bucks team because one player had an Android phone and it messed up the group chat. Not gonna lie, Praino, this makes me like Jason Kidd a lot. So I guess when Kidd was coaching the Bucks, he was kind of hard-nosed, which surprised me. So there's a new book coming out called Giannis, the Improbable Rise of an NBA MVP. And I've seen some excerpts from this, and I think it looks like a cool book because it was written like as he's developing and he's winning MVPs. It's almost a real-time look at Giannis, which I think is cool. So in this excerpt, it says he would do things like this. If a player slipped up in practice, Kidd would make every other player run sprints while the player who made the mistake had to watch from the sidelines. So his whole reasoning was physical punishment on the team to encourage players to hold each other accountable,
right,
while using psychological punishment.
Can't believe this didn't work.
But this is where the Android story comes into play. So former Bucks center Thon Maker, is it Ton or Thon? Thon.
And it's also Thoughts.
Okay, good to know. So I guess at one point he had an Android and it messed up the whole group chat for the team. Like I'm saying, like it always does. So he made the team run because Kidd felt that he was an example of not being united with his teammates. So shout out to Jason Kidd and shout out to anybody who punishes anyone for having an Android. I know you're out there. I've done this on the show before. I've done this on Twitter. I don't know why you would have an Android. Don't talk to me. Oh, it's better. What is better? If I can't send you a video.
Kirk Cousins talked to Thon Maker, by the way, and he was like, I have a solution for you. You should breed, train, and develop carrier pigeons so that when Jason Kidd sends a message, you can reply with a carrier pigeon. In addition, since your texts don't go through with the blue bubble, you can let him know that you got the message by training a carrier pigeon so that you can put a little reply in a scroll and put it on the leg of the carrier pigeon and fly it to Coach Kidd so he knows you got it. Because your texts don't go blue, they go green, so he won't know. So send a carrier pigeon. And then somebody was like, why don't you just get an iPhone? He was like, no, the carrier pigeon is the answer. I understand that the iPhone would be easier and cheaper and way less annoying for literally everybody involved. But I think we should be keeping pigeons in the Milwaukee Bucks arena and in your home, and have a falconer that is there to receive the pigeons and to send them out. That was Kirk Cousins' idea.
I think it makes total sense. You know what condoms are for? Androids. That's what my condoms are for. Condoms are for androids. What are you doing, people? What are you doing? And I already know I will get messages from Android people on this. I already know it. By the way, what is the argument of the Android users?
I don't know. They can change their battery out.
More battery length. Is the picture quality better? The video quality?
Maybe picture quality. I have no idea. It syncs with their ThinkPad.
Like that would be, if I was going political, if I was running for office, that would be my thing. I'd ban androids, ban them all, get rid of them. Although it didn't seem to work for Jason Kidd because he didn't have the best stint with the Bucks.
No, he didn't.
So his shaming of the players individually and playing these psychological games didn't seem to work. And for the record, I had a terrible dream the other night about my third grade team, soon to be fourth grade team. I just want to share with the audience. This has apparently been suppressed subconsciously. I had a dream our best player quit in the middle of a game, walked out of the gym, and our team was like our best player who, at that age, when you have the best player, he scores 80% of your points. And he walked out and our team didn't know what to do and we couldn't score at all. And I woke up and I was like, oh, it's just a dream. Thank God. We need him this year. I need him.
We really need you to can you get back on the dating apps or something? I mean, your life now is third grade basketball, roller coasters, and ridding your lawn of vermin. You fucking Joe Dirt.
I think tomorrow it's gonna be an exciting day. I think I'm banging out Kings Island and a Reds game at night. Kings Island day, Reds game night.
The old Ohio double, as they call it.
Maybe fit in some chili in there at some point.
Some chili. Swing by Chris Collinsworth's house.
We'll see. I gotta find out where he lives. I'm sure my dad has notes somewhere in the house.
I thought your dad used to point it out. He's like, that's Chris Collinsworth's house right there.
Yeah, he would. I'm not sure. It's on the hill in Kentucky. I'm not sure exactly where, but he would point it out. I wonder what Collinsworth is doing because Richard Sherman was his co-host on that podcast. Is that show just over?
I have no idea.
What else we got today? Oh, other NFL news. Carson Wentz is hurt again.
Yeah.
You hate to laugh, but it's foot surgery out 5 to 12 weeks. That's a big window. And you know what's crazy? If he doesn't play, 75 or 80% of the games, then the Eagles don't get a first round pick from the Colts. So the Eagles fans want him to play.
Yeah.
They drop to a second round pick.
It's almost like the football gods are punishing the Eagles for losing games on purpose.
Yeah, it's true. Forgot about that.
How's Devonta Smith doing?
When you have the injury bug, we've talked about this.
They moved up in the draft. They wanted that higher draft pick, Andy. Wanted that higher draft pick. They didn't want the Giants in the playoffs. They wanted that higher draft pick. All it's cost them so far is their coach, their quarterback. Oh, now the guy they moved up for is out with a foot injury. Oh, it's weird. Karma is a bitch.
So there are rumors that the Eagles are going to go after Deshaun Watson.
Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they?
What do you think?
He's, I can't wait for the Eagles fans to spin this one. Michael Vick he did his time. Deshaun Watson, he'll, let's see how the investigation pans out. I mean, I here's what I know about Eagles fans. 100% of Eagles fans would be like, fuck yeah. But also they're keeping it, they're keeping a loose thing in case it doesn't go through of not trashing Jalen Hurts yet.
Well, look, dude,
Jalen Hurts is going to be dope. Jalen Hurts is going to be the second best quarterback in the NFL.
Let's be honest, though. Let's just be honest. I'm just going to be blunt here. If we're looking strictly from football,
yeah,
you'd want him on your team.
Yeah, but that we're not looking strictly from football. Of course, if we're looking strictly from football, you'd want him on your team.
But the NFL doesn't care. And to be honest, I don't think most people don't care. They don't care if somebody's a murderer, somebody's a rapist, somebody is a felon. I think most people at the end of the day do not give a shit. They don't. Because if they did, the NFL would actually do changes.
I mean, I would say historically, though, we have seen franchises that stay away from this kind of stuff and franchises who dive into this kind of thing. Now, the Eagles aren't really necessarily a team that has, but they, the Vic thing, they've had plenty over the years, but they're not the Cowboys. They're not the Raiders. They're not the Bengals. You know what I mean? It's like they're not trying to steal value where they can by just getting the most horrible people that they can possibly fucking get. But like it just is, it's very telling of, who's in charge when it's like, at what lengths will we go for value? How desperate can we get? And I think if you look over the years, the teams that stay out of this mix historically better than the ones that don't. How the fuck are the Cowboys and the Raiders been doing lately? How's the Bengals?
Well, I think it's, it depends on the player and the position. We are talking about the franchise quarterback. So for sure it's different than the Bucs saying, hey, we're going to add Antonio Brown halfway through the season. We already stacked at wide receiver. If it doesn't work out.
Right. Antonio Brown, threw some shit at his wife during a fucking moving day argument and whatever. Like Deshaun Watson been accused by 22 women.
He likes his butthole fingered. Do you know that? Like, that's what it is.
Right.
I watched multiple interviews in the last week. They all say the same thing. It's the get in there line. He just doesn't want to say it. Dude, it's cool. You want a finger in your asshole. Just say it, man. You got to just like that. I think that's the problem with the shot. This whole get in there, nobody, dude, you got to be blunt.
I mean, we're talking about a town where the people ate shit off the street when they won a championship. There are 1 million Eagles fans like, you want your butthole fingered? Come on down. Well, I'll finger your butthole. I'll eat a fucking meatball hoagie while I finger your butthole.
When you say it, I instantly think of that guy. I know. I will never forget the visual of that guy eating horse shit.
Son, I'll wash it off with water, but I'll put my whole fist in your butthole.
Get in there, bro. You just want a finger in your butt. Look, they have Jalen Hurts. You gotta see how that plays out first.
Well, not if they trade for Deshaun Watson, right?
Yeah. The first preseason game is this week.
Yeah, it's crazy.
We're here. So basically, there's an NFL game on for the next, I don't know how many months. We're already here.
Is it a Hall of Fame game first, or are they not doing that?
Yeah, it's the Hall of Fame game in Canton.
On Sunday?
Yeah.
Who's in the Hall of Fame game?
I want to say, I always think it's the Cowboys. It is Steelers Cowboys. Yeah, man. Really snuck up on us this year. It's crazy.
Speaking of rapist quarterbacks, Steelers, Cowboys.
It's here, man. The NFL's here. I think this is gonna be a crazy year. I don't know what to expect this year. There's gonna be some wild divisions. I think Big Ben. I think that could be disastrous for the Steelers this year.
Big Ben.
I just is he headed towards like Peyton Manning? Now Peyton Manning Broncos still got a Super Bowl,
right?
But like, is he?
Dude, listen, I've been calling for the demise of the Steelers for many years now. I'm not about to back off that ledge at this point, but I mean, last year they started so strong, and then just got absolutely boat raced.
They're the worst division. Yeah, they were the worst 11-0 team in NFL history.
Yeah. But I don't think the Steelers are a playoff team.
No, I don't either. It'll be interesting though. That division's actually going to be an interesting division because obviously Cleveland had a great year last year.
I think Cleveland's going to be good this year.
Yeah. The Ravens. The Bengals have enough young talent to make, like they did last year, where they're not an easy W.
Right.
We'll see. You want to hear from a couple dirt balls? We got a couple calls.
Sure. My phone keeps blowing up with breaking, but it's Lionel Messi leaving Barcelona. I guess we're a sports show, but I have no thoughts.
I literally couldn't tell you anything about that. I feel like Messi's been playing soccer forever, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Live updates as Spanish Giants unable to formalize new contract. So leaving Barcelona.
Or as they say, Barcelona.
Yeah. Not a great day for Spanish football. If you're one of our soccer correspondents, you want to call in.
No, please don't.
Leave Messi updates for Andy.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. 310-359-8365 is the hotline.
For your Messi updates.
Oh, my God.
Messi update. If you have thoughts on Messi. Is Messi the GOAT? He's the GOAT, right? Like that seems to be the consensus.
Is he?
I don't know. I have no idea.
I'll never get into soccer. I just won't. Like I'll go. I'll go to any sports event. I don't get I actually was looking. They're going to do a World Cup qualifier. USA Mexico. One of the sites is Cincinnati. They got that brand new stadium for our MLS team. The cheapest tickets are like $500.
Okay.
I was like, F that. But I'll go. I'll see a match there. But it's so boring. It just is to me. I went to LA Galaxy. I went to LASC with boring. It's just so boring to me. There's no flopping like soccer's flopping. I know the flopping can get
flopping like a soccer flopping.
I know flopping can get bad in basketball at times. It does not compare though. It just does not compare.
And then they lay there and they're like, duh! It's off the bone. It's off the bone. And they're like, no cards. Like, fine. I'm fine. It's all good.
When is there going to be a soccer player who bucks the trend? Just some badass who's like, fuck you. I just kicked you, dude. Or a guy who doesn't flop ever. And he's just known to be a badass.
There's probably those guys, and we just don't know about them. 310-359-8365. Tell Ruther the non-flopping soccer guys.
Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? You want me to just waste my time?
I don't think Messi. I mean, it seems like I'm looking at this. There's a lot of Messi the go talk, but like, dude, how is he even in the running? He didn't even win a World Cup. Never won a World Cup. Never won it. He's in the running.
Well, it's a team sport.
Oh yeah, that's right. It's a team sport, and to base who the GOAT is on championships would be ludicrous.
No, I didn't know you were going there with this. I didn't see it at first.
Yeah. Well, you got it. You got it now. Not even in the running, right? He didn't even have one.
Like who's in the running for the greatest soccer player of all time? Ronaldo.
I have no idea.
Ronaldo, Messi, and I'm
Pele, Maradona. I have no idea. I'm just saying names. Alexi Lalas.
Yes, definitely Alexi Lalas.
Steve Nash.
Yeah, that makes sense. All right, let's start off. Let's start off with this call.
Hey guys, Eric from Lakewood, Colorado. I had just flown home New Jersey for my best friend's wedding and had to give a best man speech. And it went pretty good, and some things hit, some things missed, and I got a little bit of stand-up experience myself, and I was wondering, how that's translated for both of you guys, if you've ever had to do anything like that, and if the stand-up experience has helped in those situations. Condoms are for Cole Beasley's black voice. Stay dirty, boys.
I like how it's very specific.
Yeah.
His black voice. I will say Cole Beasley interviews versus Cole Beasley rap. And I know you're going to change your voice somewhat. It's one of the funniest things ever.
I need a Cole Beasley rap song featuring Kirk Cousins. Like no vax in a box. It's no vax in a box. It's no vax in a box. Kirk Cousins is inside the fucking plastic thing doing mime shit.
I bet you could make a badass NFL anti-vax team.
Yeah. Take your immune system, put it into a box.
I'm saying like you get, so you got DeAndre Hopkins, you got Jalen Ramsey. Like you could put together, I bet, a pretty good 22 players.
And then, as Mike Zimmer knows, you just got to hope none of them test positive for COVID and miss the game.
Poor Mike Zimmer. So I don't want to do with this shit. I'm an old man. I'm an old man.
This is unbelievable that you have tethered me to a quarterback we're paying $30 million who is afraid of vaccines and primetime football games.
It's true. So stand up in our own lives.
I mean, yeah, like the experience of doing stand up. I mean, I think for sure, you know, it's helped. I've delivered 5 best man speeches and a eulogy. And like, yeah, of course it helps. You're just used to talking in front of people. You can write things with you write things in a stand up format, joke, you know, like set up punchline, like for sure. No, I mean, I think having done stand up for almost 20 years now, like it helps in everything. Like it helps me with, you know, talking to people every day, like, because you just, you project, you have confidence, you know how to talk, you know, public speak, anything that includes public speaking. It's easy. Like I'm never worried about, you know, doing any of that shit.
Oh yeah. And it even helps for sure. I've only had one best man speech, but both my parents, you know, funerals, speaking in front of everybody. I would argue it can even just help in a one-on-one conversation.
Yeah.
Like, you know, if I ever do go on dates again, on dates, I think it's great because you're getting to know somebody. You kind of know how to say things.
It also puts like a lot of things into perspective in terms of like, bombing is the worst thing ever. But once you experience it a couple of times, you're like, well, sometimes it just happens. You just go into like personal situations where you're like, what's the worst that could fucking possibly happen? It's not going to be 75 people staring at me like I'm a fucking asshole.
Yeah, exactly. No, that I never thought of that. That's true. When you eat shit in front of strangers and you got a spotlight on you, it's not nearly as bad when you eat shit around a group of friends. You know, I took one on the chin recently in front of people that I didn't really know.
Yeah.
I said, I'd rather support ISIS than the Cincinnati Bengals. And it just got dead silent. Which, you know, that's a gamble when you don't know people and you're meeting them for the first time and you're in a group.
In Cincinnati.
Yeah, in Cincinnati.
Just attacking I'd rather support a terrorist organization than eat chili on spaghetti. They're like, whoa, shots fired.
I didn't say that. I did not. I wouldn't go that far. Although, I mean, I did have Skyline last week.
I think that we should start using Skyline chili on terrorists. Like instead of waterboarding, we should just dump spaghetti covered chili on them.
I'm all for it.
Where's the warhead? I'll never tell. What's that? Macaroni?
It's not macaroni. You always say macaroni. It's spaghetti. There's no macaroni at Skyline. There's no macaroni in. And again, I don't know. I am preferential to Gold Star chili over Skyline. I don't know how many times I'm going to say this. Gold Star over Skyline for me.
but Skyline better for the waterboarding because it's a little soupier.
Yeah, it is better.
Water.
It is better for the waterboarding. All right.
Tell me, or we were making it a 5-way. No, not the onions. Oh,
Maybe we do that to Gary Cohen, the way he disrespected Cincinnati in that broadcast
hero
with the Mets game. That's unbelievable. The disrespect. You know, when Joey Votto hit that first bomb in Citi Field, that was for the whole city of Cincinnati. The blasphemy that he would broadcast across the country. That was for all of us. Thank you, Joey. Okay, let's get to this call.
Andy, Joe, how you doing? Quick question for you guys. What sports team or franchise has fumbled the bag the most when it comes to having a ton of talent on the roster but can never get it done when it mattered most? I know that the Celtics technically qualify for this since they had the big three and only got one championship. But for this question, what teams had just an insane amount of talent and has never even got or won a championship? Stay dirty.
I got an easy one, and I actually did a deep dive off the top of my head because it's a local one for me. The 2015 Cincinnati Bengals, the one who lost to the Pittsburgh Steelers, was so stacked. They didn't win a playoff game.
Well, I would argue like I don't know if his question is saying like overall or like that particular like one particular team. Is he mean like, oh, this squad or like franchises or
I don't know what he means, but I want to go through this so people can hear how stacked. That was the team that lost to the infamous Steelers game with Perfect and all those crazy penalties. Now I know Andy Dalton goes down, but they started the year 8-0, right? So I forgot how stacked they were on both sides of the ball. The Bengals gave up the second fewest points the whole season. They're giving up on less than 18 points a game. They scored the seventh most points. So they were that good on both sides of the ball. Listen to who they had on offense. You had Jeremy Hill, Gio Bernard, Dalton, who was having a great year. Your receivers were Mohamed Sanu, a young Mohamed Sanu, Marvin Jones, who had a great year, AJ Green, Tyler Eifert, who had 13 touchdowns that year. You had arguably the best offensive line. They were stacked on defense. Like I look at a team like that and I say, you don't win a playoff game?
Yeah.
And you're that good on both sides of the ball? You can just put up points at will? I don't know. Like that's a team that obviously that stuck out to me recently.
Yeah. I would say, I mean,
the Seattle Mariners, man.
Yeah. The Mariners. I would say the Angels through the years. I mean, the Angels, obviously, like, that's why I'm questioning. It's like, you know, you got to go back a long ways now for that Angels championship. But like, think about the guys who have been on the Angels just the last 10 years. Think about everybody who's been on the New York Yankees. Think about how stacked the Yankees are since, you know, they last won a championship in 2008 or 2009, whatever it was. Like,
it was 2010, but yeah.
2010. Yeah, I knew it was around the fucking when I left New York. Thank God. I mean, the Dolphins over the years. The Texans. Think about the fucking talent that has come and gone from the Texans. Basketball wise, I'm trying to think of a uber talented basketball team through the years that never won. I mean, the Clippers.
Yeah. Clippers, yeah. I mean, you almost forget that Chris Paul played for them.
How about the Sixers, too? The Sixers over the years. I mean, these teams, the Iverson teams.
Well, he took that whole when they lost to the Lakers, he put that whole team on his back.
But I'm saying like the last Sixers championships, what, 80, like early 80s, right?
I think it's 1980 with Dr. J.
Yeah. So we're talking, we have a Barkley era, We have an Iverson era. They have a huge downturn. They trust the process. Now they're hyper talented again. I mean, we've had multiple eras of
83
super stardom in Philadelphia, and they don't do anything with it.
Yeah, so it's been a long time. 83, almost 40 years. Well, hey, Danny Green resigned. You guys will be right back.
How about the Raiders? I mean, the amount of talent that's come and gone over the Raiders over the since their last championship. How many Hall of Famers do you think have played for the Raiders since their last championship? Like lots.
Yeah, but they've obviously trailed off the last 20 years.
But in the last 20 years, I mean, you have talented guys, but Randy Moss is a Raider. Woodson's a Raider. Khalil Mack's a Raider. Like that's 3 generational talents. Football is tougher because it's 52 guys. But
did you see any videos, speaking of the Raiders, of the USA-Mexico fights during the soccer match, which was in Las Vegas?
Oh, I did see that. Yeah,
bro.
yeah.
It was like Mexican on Mexican crime. It wasn't like USA fans. All the videos I saw was Team Mexico fans going hard at each other. Just beating the shit out of each other.
Yo, fool.
Yo, fool. I saw a great tweet because they got that baller like VIP section down by the end zones.
By the way, before we move on to the last thing, obviously my Knicks have had a ridiculous amount of people have come and gone on the Knicks in the last fucking 45 years since their championship.
True.
Craziness.
But I saw a tweet about those sections, which are so expensive to sit.
In Las Vegas?
Yeah. Because it's like bottle service. It's a nightclub down there.
Yeah.
And somebody's like, imagine paying for these seats. Like, and these guys, imagine somebody's dropping all this money and dudes are just beating the shit out of each other. Those soccer.
There's a body comes flying into your box. Yo, fool, put this on that ice for me.
Dude, I can watch those fights all day.
Could I have some of your bottle ice? I got a laceration, bro. Yo, fool.
I need some more Tecate, bro.
Max, I love the Yo Fools.
Oh my God.
Such just characters.
That's still one of the most fun sporting events I ever went to, was that USA Mexico soccer match. The Rose Bowl with Michael Majid.
Where you got a shin guard full of nachos. What do you mean? It's the golden boot. How do I not eat it?
That game was wild. That game went into overtime too. I will say you would enjoy that. If you went to like an event like that, we're talking about like MLS. That's next level. You go to a sold out Rose Bowl, 80,000 Yo Fools. Or do they go by Latinx now?
Okay.
I'm joking. Did you see the poll released on that today? You probably did. I have to read this. It's so funny since we're talking about Yo Fools. So that term, they did a poll.
I'm sorry. I know, like, first of all, we've already been canceled for the years of Yo Fools, but I don't even know, what is that term supposed to refer to?
What, Latinx?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's supposed to be, what it's supposed to be is, you know how the Spanish language, O is for is male and A is feminine. so I think it's supposed to be, dude, white people create it. It's always the fucking white people.
So
It's a non-gender.
Okay.
So instead of being
if you're a non-binary Latin person,
you're
Latinx.
Yeah. Latinx. So like if you don't want to be called, if you're a female, you don't want to be called Latina. But this is so funny. So Gallup did a poll on this is specifically for Hispanic people. And this, I'm looking at this right now on Twitter, and it's so funny. Hispanic Americans' preferred term of choice for their ethnic group. 5% said Latinx. So this is asking them. And again, that's the funny irony is like, they don't fucking want this.
But I assume that's because if you're a Latino male, you would just prefer Latino. And if you're a Latina female, you'd prefer Latina.
According to the poll.
So 5% is really high for the people who don't.
Well, it's not really. 57% want to be called Hispanic.
Okay. Hispanic.
37% Latino, which would cross both genders.
Right.
So 2%.
What percent prefer yo fool? And less than 1% prefer to be called yo fool.
Dude, that I cringe every time. Like if you put
every time we say yo fool in 2021, I kind of do too.
No, I don't cringe at that. I cringe every time I hear Latinx, especially from like a white politician.
It sounds like an operating system. It sounds like Linux or something like that.
But you know who's pushing it the hardest is the LA Times. It always makes me laugh. Google Latinx and LA Times. And it's like, okay, you guys are really trying so hard for this.
You know, for a guy who hates the news so much, you share a lot of LA Times, Wall Street Journal.
Yeah, I gotta stop reading them.
Like, Cincinnati, bro, look at this from the LA Times.
Cincinnati Enquirer.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's true. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. That's more of the viewing news, I should say. I'll still read. I want to get a few different sources. But like watching the news, oh my God. I can't. I get angry. I was at the gym and they had sports in front of me on the treadmill and they had Fox News. And I literally couldn't. I was like, it was a challenge for me. I could go, you're gonna have to go 45 minutes on the treadmill. You cannot look up. I don't want to see what like slanted one way fucking propaganda they're pushing. I can't do it. I can't watch this shit. And then the people training, I think, thought I was a lunatic because I was looking straight ahead at them at a different room. I wasn't looking up at the TV. So now I'm banned from my gym. Nah. All right, guys, that's the show. I got an exterminator coming.
Yeah,
so
an exterminator coming.
Yeah. We got a little ant problem in the kitchen.
Oh, no.
Not major, but I'm seeing some ants.
It's the summer.
It's the summer. 310-359-8365. That's the hotline.
Call us with your Messi soccer takes.
And if you're Hispanic, Latino, Latinx, let us know. What do you want to be called? Or Yoful.
Yeah, could if you're a Yoful, if you identify as a Yoful, can you call and identify as a Yoful so that we can show that we shouldn't be canceled, that there are people who identify as Yofuls?
I wear the Yoful shirt all the time, by the way. That's one of my favorite shirts.
Yeah.
And drop a podcast review if you want 2 free koozies in the mail. Just leave your Instagram or Twitter handle, and I will reach out to you.
Like Andy always says, I got stickers in the mail. Going to the post office, send out stickers to all my new Instagram followers. So shout out to you guys. All you got to do is follow me and then send me your address at Joe Praino on all social media except for Twitter. I'm at Fix Your Life. Shows coming up here in Los Angeles, and then of course October, New Orleans. Be there. It's gonna be a great weekend. Will Jameis be playing? That's the bet I want to try to make. Will Jameis still be the starter 4 weeks into the season? I hope so. He just has to get through the dummies without hurting himself. That's it. That's all I got.
All right. That is our episode. You guys have a great week. Thank you for listening.